Friends, have you ever heard of a ship found drifting in the middle of the ocean? Perfectly intact, cargo untouched, food laid out on the table, but the entire crew missing, as if they just vanished into thin air, no signs of violence. No written warnings, no storm, no wreckage. Just a ghost ship sailing alone through silence. This isn't some sailor's tale whispered in taverns, it's real. Documented, investigated, and it's one of the most unsettling maritime mysteries in the world. This is the story of the Mary Celeste. To understand why the Mary Celeste still haunts historians and storytellers nearly 150 years later, let's go back, way back, to the final months of the year 1872. The Mary Celeste wasn't just any sailing vessel. It was a 282-ton brigantine built in Canada in 1861 and originally named Amazon. She changed hands several times and was renamed Mary Celeste in 1869 after some ill luck followed her earlier voyages. But by the time the infamous journey began, she was seaworthy, strong, refitted, and ready. On November 7, 1872, the Mary Celeste set sail from the New York harbor, destined for Genoa, Italy. She was carrying a cargo of 1,701 barrels of industrial alcohol, the kind used in factories and chemical processes, not for human consumption. On board were Captain Benjamin Briggs, an experienced 37-year-old New England sailor, his wife Sarah, and their 2-year-old daughter Sophia. Along with them was a hand-picked crew of 7 men, all personally selected by Briggs for their character and skill. 10 people. 1 vessel. With good weather on the forecast and no warning of what lay ahead in 01. Not the captain, not the crew, and certainly not the world watching the shipping logs could have predicted that they'd sail into eternal silence. For a while, no one knew anything was wrong. Transatlantic voyages often took weeks, sometimes longer. Shipping schedules varied because of weather, wind, and sea currents. But then, something strange happened on December 5, 1872, nearly a month after Mary Celeste had departed New York. A British vessel named the Dei Gratia was making its way through the mid-Atlantic, about 400 miles east of the Azores. Sailing calm waters, their lookout spotted something odd. A ship, sails partially raised, moving awkwardly, drifting slowly, aimlessly. The Dei Gratia hailed her, and no answer. Smoke? No fire? No people on board? None, just a ship, silently wandering through the sea. Suspicion rose quickly. Could it be a trap? Pirates? The crew of Dei Gratia sent a boarding party, led by First Mate Oliver DeVoe. What they found even shocked these seasoned sailors. Scene: investigation on board the Mary Celeste. The Mary Celeste had no one on board. Every room and cabin empty. But here's where it gets disturbing. The cargo hold below deck, almost completely untouched. The barrels of alcohol still there. Only 9 had leaked. Personal belongings? Still arranged. The captain's logbook? Sitting on the desk. The final entry was dated November 25th, 10 days earlier. The kitchen had food laid out. Charts remained unburned. There was no sign of a struggle, no blood, no chaos. Not even signs of a storm. Doors were slightly ajar. Some wet spots in the hold, but nothing to justify a full abandonment. Even the sails were in decent condition. Only one thing was clearly missing: the lifeboat. And, of course, the people. Let's break down the timeline. From the moment the Mary Celeste left New York, up to the day she was found eerily empty, lost in time. November 7th, 1872, New York Harbor. It's a cool, windy morning when the Mary Celeste sets sail. Captain Benjamin Briggs is a disciplined man, early to rise, meticulous in every detail. He is described as spiritual, even-tempered, and highly respected in the shipping community. Alongside him, his wife Sarah and their daughter Sophia. For them, this journey is supposed to be part adventure and part new beginning in Europe. The ship carries over 1,700 barrels of denatured alcohol, a potentially flammable substance, but not explosive. The ship is tight, organized, safe. On board, a total of 10 people. They sail out with no reported issues. November 24th, 1872. Approaching the Azores Islands, the ship is making steady progress. The last official log entry indicates fair weather, and that they're just a few hundred miles west of the Azores. isolated islands in the middle of the Atlantic. Nothing strange is recorded. No illness. No alarms. The sea is calm. According to that final log, their approximate location was 38°20'N, 17°15'W, a spot not far from where the ship would be found. Then, nothing. No more entries. No signals. Nothing abnormal from the outside world. That a silence begins that still hasn't been broken. December 5th, 1872, discovery by the Dei Gratia, Captain David Morehouse of the ship Dei Gratia, a friend and former colleague of Briggs. Spots the Mary Celeste drifting erratically. He doesn't yet know it's his friend's ship. When first mate Oliver Devoid boards her, he notices immediately. No peopled NO log entries beyond November 25th NO lifeboat. The alcohol barrels mostly intact, but a few leaking NO broken railings or damage suggesting a mutiny or attack, and still, everything in good condition. The sails are weathered but functional. The food in the galley fresh. Her compass knocked off, but charts and navigation instruments in place. And unsettlingly, the crew's valuables, even cash, remain untouched. What was not found? No sign of a struggle, no message of distress, no fire damage, no bodies, no blood, or weapons. A ship with no reason to be abandoned was abandoned. And the people were gone forever. All 10 people aboard the Mary Celeste had families, dreams. They were not just the crew. They were human beings with stories that vanished along with them. Captain Benjamin Spooner Briggs, a veteran mariner, strong in his faith, known for never touching alcohol. He devoted his life to the sea, and now, for the first time, invited his wife and daughter to sail with him across the Atlantic. The quiet, thoughtful man, Benjamin was deeply protective of his family. No record exists of him making rash decisions. He was respected among his peers and well-versed in sailing dangerous waters. To escape the stress of business and build a better future, he accepted the cargo job to Genoa. This voyage was supposed to be safe. Sarah Briggs, a young mother, filled with quiet excitement and cautious hope. She had written to her family days before sailing, sounding optimistic. Her 2-year-old daughter, Sophia, was the youngest passenger on board, a child of the sea now lost beneath it. The crew. First mate Albert Richardson, second mate Andrew Gilling, steward Edward Head, 4 other men, each one handpicked by Briggs himself. These weren't strangers or unknown deckhands. They were carefully chosen, trustworthy, and capable. None had a history of violence, theft, or insubordination, and yet, all gone. Not a trace. Imagine the moment, if there was one, where something forced a calm captain to gather his wife, his child, and the crew, and lead them off the ship, into a lone lifeboat, in open ocean. Imagine the uncertainty, the fear, the split-second decision. Did they think they'd return in minutes? Did something hiss, or explode, or whisper danger into the wind? And did they sit in the lifeboat, watching their ship drift away forever? We don't know, because none of them, not one, were ever seen again. After the eerie discovery of the Mary Celeste, the Dei Gratia crew sailed her to Gibraltar, hoping to collect on the salvage rights, a common practice when a derelict ship was rescued at sea. But what was supposed to be a simple legal process turned into an explosive investigation. The Gibraltar Inquiry authorities at Gibraltar weren't just puzzled, they were suspicious. The local Attorney General, Frederick Solly Flood, wasn't buying the idea of an innocent abandonment. He favored something darker, foul play, possibly murder, possibly staged. Flood believed the crew of the Dei Gratia, seeing an opportunity to claim the ship, had concocted a story. But this theory fell apart under the weight of facts. There was no evidence of violence, no sign of a fight, no stolen cargo, no bruises on the boat, no motive. Either. A team inspected the ship carefully. Tools were present, provisions untouched. The alcohol, non-drinkable. It would have poisoned anyone who tried to consume it. One striking detail: 9 barrels were found empty. Further testing revealed they were made of red oak, not white oak, making them more porous. That's likely why they leaked. No one could prove a crime, but no one could prove safety. Either. In the end, the salvage court reduced the payout dramatically, awarding the Dei Gratia's crew just a fraction of what a normal rescue would have earned them, citing vague suspicion. Modern theories and speculation. In the decades since, countless theories have emerged. Mutiny? Unlikely. The crew was personally selected and trusted. There was no motive, no trace of violence. Pirate attack? If pirates had struck, they would have taken the cargo, the money, the crew's belongings. Nothing was touched. Storm or rogue wave? The ship showed no real storm damage. The log recorded calm weather. Seaquake or waterspout? Some believe seawater. Intrusion or a sudden convulsion of the sea might have startled the captain into hasty evacuation. However, these events are still debated. Fumes from alcohol leakage? The most favored modern theory. Those 9 leaking alcohol barrels might have released flammable vapors. Not enough for fire, but enough to alarm a cautious captain with his wife and daughter aboard. Imagery suggestion for editor: a ghostly reenactment. Captain Briggs sniffing the air, hatches lifted, hands shielding his nose. A worried glance to his wife. A rushed decision. The lowering of a lifeboat. Then, nothing but open sea. The crew may have feared an explosion. It's possible Captain Briggs ordered an immediate evacuation, perhaps planning to stay nearby until the danger passed. But then, the worst might have happened. A rope dragging behind the Mary Celeste snapped. A storm arrived, or the lifeboat capsized. And just like that, 10 lives were swallowed by the Atlantic, with their ship continuing on without them. Was the Mary Celeste cursed? Her earlier history included accidents, illnesses, and strange failures. Some sailors whispered she was an unlucky vessel, a theory that caught fire in the press after her abandonment. Over the next decade, she sailed under multiple owners, always plagued with problems. In 1885, she was deliberately destroyed. In a suspicious insurance scam one captain had planned, her bones now rest beneath the waves off Haiti. Broken, forgotten, but her name lives on. The Mary Celeste isn't just a ghost ship. She's a symbol, a riddle that's never been solved, a reminder of how quickly the sea can erase human presence. This tale lives on not because of horror, but because of emptiness. No cries for help. No flashes of lightning. No evidence of struggle or salvation. Just a floating question mark in the middle of the Atlantic. What can we learn? Sometimes, even in the age of science and logic, we are reminded how fragile we are, that men and women, with all their strength, plans, and precautions, can still disappear in a heartbeat to forces they didn't understand. And that not all mysteries are meant to be solved. Some are carved into the ocean just to remind us how little we truly know. Closing thought: maybe the real story of the Mary Celeste isn't about what happened. Maybe it's about how quickly the ordinary becomes the impossible, and how silence can echo louder than any explanation. If this story gave you chills, or made you rethink what a ghost ship really means, then don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more true historical mysteries. And tell us in the comments, what do you think happened to the Mary Celeste? A logical choice gone wrong, or something we may never comprehend? Thanks for joining us. And remember, in history, some ships don't just sail into storms, some sail into legend.